And right now it's time for that time when we have our special guest. Tonight's special guest is Robert Gennari. Robert left New Zealand in 1969 and has carved out a musical career in Australia. Robert is back in New Zealand this week as the special guest star at the Benny Awards. Like all good singers, he has a CD packed with great music, and tonight 3 of our lucky viewers can win a copy. We welcome Robert Gennari as our special guest on The Beat Goes On. Robert Gennari.
How are you, Jared?
Good to see you.
Thank you.
All the way from Australia for the Benny Awards.
That's correct, yeah.
You are a New Zealander, but of course, like many thousands of New Zealanders, you left for Australia. How many years ago now, Robert?
Well, I am a New Zealander. I'm a naturalised New Zealander. I'm Italian-born, actually.
Italian, with the name like Gennari.
No, we came to New Zealand as refugees back in the 50s, and we were naturalised, and I always consider myself a Kiwi, no matter how long I've been living in Australia. I've always rooted for the All Blacks.
Yeah, and you were born with a beautiful Italian voice, weren't you?
Well, the Italian tenor voice came with the Italian background, yep.
Now, more on that in a moment, Robert. You're over here in New Zealand for the Benny Awards, and you are the special guest star.
That's right.
Wow, what do you think of that?
Well, it's a great privilege, a great honour to be back after all these years living in Australia, coming back to perform and sing to my peers. It's a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Now, back to the start, Robert.
Well, I grew up in Auckland in a place called Grey Lynn, which I heard is pretty upmarket right now.
Very upmarket.
But started singing when I was quite young. I had a wonderful singing teacher, a gentleman called Hubert Milverton Carter, and I think a lot of people remember him.
I remember him.
He taught you too, didn't he?
Yes, he taught me.
And he brought my voice out, brought out the Italian flair, and it was a wonderful experience to discover my voice. And I was quite successful here in Auckland and throughout New Zealand. I had several chart-popping hits, whatever, and toured through New Zealand. And then when Judith Durran came, when she broke from the Seekers, she came here in the late 60s, and I toured with her. And finally I was made an offer I couldn't refuse to go to Australia to live there and work the club circuit. And that's what I did. It's been a very successful career.
Another talented New Zealander to leave for Australia.
That's right. We have to follow our careers.
Have you ever regretted leaving New Zealand, Robert?
Well, I think New Zealand's the most beautiful country in the world, but
Wow.
you have to follow your destiny, and a career of singing, there's more opportunities overseas.
In Australia.
So that's where we have to go.
Now, for our viewers throughout New Zealand who would like to hear Robert sing a song, we have a beautiful song, This Crazy Heart.
It's Crazy Heart.
What a great song. Look, we'll
Yes.
talk about it after hearing it, so we'll play it right now, shall we?
My world is spinning around in a circle. My heart is beating so loudly I feel. Turning and burning, my soul will surrender. To want you completely is so much to bear. This night is spinning around in a circle. When will this passion for you ever end? Will I awake, or will this be heaven? To know that you love me, I'm more than a friend. This crazy heart will turn for you. This heart of mine will burn so true. I will love you forever, forever and ever. This crazy heart will burn for you. Our world is spinning around in a circle. My only need is for you to be near. I see the moonlight, the stars in the heaven, a shining reflection in your eyes so clear. My heart is spinning around in a circle. Tonight the promise of love you will keep. Will I awake, or will this be heaven? To know you're beside me whenever I sleep. This crazy heart will turn for you. This heart of mine will burn so true. I will love you forever, forever and ever. This crazy heart will burn for you. Hold me, never leave me. Say you won't deceive me. Please show me the way to your heaven. This crazy heart will turn for you. This heart of mine will burn so true. This crazy heart will love you forever. This crazy heart will burn for you. This crazy heart will burn for you.
Oh, Robert, that is beautiful.
Thank you. Yes,
Wow.
It was originally an Italian song.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, I just had to write the English words. Being Italian, I understood it. I understood what it meant. I knew the theme. I felt it. It was
It's crazy hard.
the words came simple words, but passionate, and I think you can feel it. I think people who have experienced life and have experienced heartache and passion and love in particular, and have had their hearts broken, they feel it. They can feel it. It's really special.
That's the story of life, isn't it? You have to live, and you have to have heartbreak, and you have to have your struggles before you can put that wonderful feeling into it. And you certainly achieved it. So
that's it. And what I'm trying to do with this song is to put it into the hearts of others, so they can feel what I feel. It doesn't happen for everyone, but it has a special content about it that most people feel. And
well,
that's,
I will say to our viewers, when I first heard it, I went, wow, this is wonderful. And I very much looked forward to you coming on the show so that we could play that particular song. So it's given you a great life, hasn't it, that voice?
It's been a great life.
Yeah.
I've met many people. I've met the people that I've wanted to meet, the singers that have great influence in my life. For example, Roy Orbison, Gene Pitney. I met Gene Pitney and spent some time with him, and he actually said, apparently Robert, you sing my songs better than I do.
Wow.
And, which was a great compliment too, and I'm sorry that he's gone, like so many great performers have, but yeah, he was a big influence. But yes, I've met a lot of people. I've travelled all over the world. I've sung all over the world, in Europe and in America, in England, of course. But I've been established in Sydney, and married a Kiwi girl, a beautiful Kiwi girl. She was a Miss International from New Zealand, and I actually came back to celebrate my 21st birthday here in Auckland. That's when I met her, the day after my 21st, and we've got 4 beautiful kids.
And of course, you are a classic baby boomer. And I'll take a stab.
Well,
you'd be around about. You're a younger man than me, unfortunately. But what would you be?
A lot younger than you, mate. No, a couple of years younger than you, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be around about You'd be in the 60s. You're one of the classic baby boomers.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been a great generation, hasn't it?
Wonderful. It's a special generation, I think.
Do you think the music today is as good as it was when we were young, Robert? I know it's a dangerous territory to stray into, but
music is probably the most wonderful gift that we have, that God's given us, but I think it's also the most prostituted business in the world. You know, there's talent plays a small part, a very small part these days. Those beautiful songs are very hard to come by these days. It's all commercialism, it's all to do with money. There are not a lot of great songs that we can say remain evergreens, as we knew back in the 50s and the 60s and even the 70s. Now it's commercialism, and it's a bit sad. I'm a bit sad about it. My son, you know, he's 19 and he was into all that sort of stuff. And one day I said, look, I've got to drive 6 hours to this venue where I'm singing. Will you come with me and keep me company? And he said, sure, Dad. I said, but I'm going to be singing all this old crap, you know. And he said, that's okay. Yeah. And by the time we got up there, this young man was hooked. Now all he listens to is my music. You know, I'm not saying that the new stuff is no good, but you have to appreciate the different eras. You know?
It was just his opportunity to actually hear it.
Oh,
because the radio stations aren't going to play it for him, are
he
they?
Loves it now. He plays opera. He plays all the classical stuff. You know.
Well, we're going to give away 3 of these wonderful albums. 3 albums for 3 lucky viewers throughout New Zealand, and featuring This Crazy Heart, which we played before. We need a question. This Crazy Heart. That's all you have to do is put it in the subject line, send it to Jared at The Beat Goes On, and 3 lucky viewers will win this wonderful album. Right. Thank you for your generosity, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Now, Robert, you're over here for a short time.
Yes.
Quick rundown on
2 weeks.
How does New Zealand look after all this time?
Well, it's certainly changed a lot.
We've got cars now.
Well, and a lot of those highways, and it's very impressive. But the people are still very friendly. I went shopping the other day, and they were very, very nice, very friendly, and they didn't hold it against me that I came from Australia.
Now, when the game was on, when the World Cup was on against Australia, who were you barracking for?
As I said, I've always been a Kiwi that way. I've always rooted for the All Blacks. I think.
The Wallabies haven't had a chance, you're saying?
No, not at all. I always very happy, and I was very, very pleased to see them win that very tight game with the final there with France. That was just a nail biter. But I'm happy for New Zealand and the Kiwis, and I'm celebrating with them as well.
Robert, great to have you on the show. And just a reminder once again, you'll be on television next week. We're filming at the Bennies, and we're going to include you in the show because you're going to be the special star.
Thank you, yes.
Thanks very much, Robert.